Everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed and honored to be here live in the Bay Area at the BAM Fall Meeting. So excited to be here. There's always an energy in the Bay when we are here, and I'm joined just to kick us off here at the BAM Fall Meeting with the president of BAM, Josh Hyatt from Odyssey Relocation. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
What's up, Ben? How's it going, man?
Dude, it's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. It's been a year since you were out here doing this last time.
I think, and I might actually. I think we were at the February, right? Yeah. And so I get out here for my twice a year BAM fix. Right, you know, my Bay Area fix. I got to tell you, the Cali vibes, I'm loving them.
Yeah, we got a nice smoking hot day. I think it was in the high 80s yesterday. Fall has not arrived in California yet.
Yeah, it's hot everywhere. It seems like these days. But it is hot because it's also the place to be right now. I love the BAM meetings because they always bring such energy, and you are always talking about the most relevant things in global mobility. What do you have on deck for us today, Josh?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So today we are going to focus on a couple of things. So we're doing what are called insight meetings or insight presentations. So they're really quick 5-minute informational sessions.
Okay.
Where people are going to come up, share not just what's going on in the industry, but real stories around what's going on in the industry. So that's what's important, right? We want people to have things that they can connect to on a personal level. Like, hey, here's what's really happening out in the marketplace.
Yeah.
We're doing that from 6 or 7 different perspectives out there. Then we're going to have a panel after that that's going to talk about, and this is something I haven't heard. I traveled around to a lot of industry groups, and you do too.
Yeah.
So you can tell me if you've heard about it anywhere. We're going to be real about what's going on in the industry right now from industry challenges. Look, it hasn't been a good year for most companies.
Right.
Whether you're on the mobility side, whether you're on the supplier side, all of us have been impacted. Many companies are having to do with more with less. Mobility teams have been impacted. Sometimes their staff members. And we've got a lot of people who are haven't been through this before. So maybe they're younger in their career. This is the first time they've been through a downturn. And it can be a real challenge for them to navigate that both professionally and emotionally too. So we're going to try and give people some hope, number one.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a misery session.
It's not all doom and gloom.
It's not all doom and gloom. We're going to talk about how you can really deal with those changes, how to deal with the emotional aspect of it, and how do we get out of this? How do we move to the next steps as an industry to continue to push what we know is important, which is making mobility's impact in these organizations.
Yeah, I mean, we're all having challenges this year, and everyone's down. It's just kind of a question of how much you're down, you know. But I guess my question, Josh, in your opinion, like, how much can we control? How much of this is market forces, macroeconomic factors, and how much of this is micro stuff like strategy, mindset?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of it is out of your control. If your overall business is down, 20 or 30% as a organization, your Facebook and your industry is down, right? It's really challenging, right? But mobility still has the ability to impact a whole bunch of things within their organization, right? They can find ways to bring cost savings. They can find ways to do more with less. They can find ways to say, hey, how do we protect the talent that we do have? We've decided we want to keep. How do we keep those people from feeling nervous about what's going on in their jobs? And how do we give them opportunity? Mobility may be one of them, to continue their career with that organization. You've decided these are the best of the best, the people you want to keep in your company. So how do we keep those people long term?
Yeah, get in the comments. I want to hear who you are, where you are. Check in with us. We got people checking in. Christopher Benson, what's up, Chris? Good to see you. And let's see here, Robin Spindell. What's going on, Robin? She says she knows it's going to be a great day. Also from Synergy. Travis Washer checking in from Cincinnati. What's up, Travis? Scott Williamson. Hello from Dallas. What's up, Scott? Go Cowboys. Go Cowboys. How you feeling about this game, Josh? You a Niners fan?
I'm a Raiders fan. I always have to say that a little quietly around here. Although we are closer to Oakland than actually we're closer to the San Francisco Stadium. We're 5 minutes from the San Francisco Stadium. My cousin played. My excuse is my cousin played for the Raiders in the 70s.
That's pretty cool.
That's how I became a Raider fan.
Yeah. So you're abstaining from this Cowboys Niners
I don't want to talk about it. No, it's just gets me in trouble with whoever I talk about.
There's no, it's a lose.
I'll just tell you, if I got to root for it, it's going to be the Niners. It's gonna. I'll just okay. I'm putting it out there. I got Cowboys fans in my life. They're annoying and irritating, like all Cowboys fans. And yeah, I'm going Niners.
All right, fair enough. We do tend to be a bit annoying. We do.
Wait. So wait, have you like transitioned from your Michigan sensibilities to now full Texas?
So I was born in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, you were born in Dallas.
Little trivia tidbit for everyone out there. I was born in Dallas. I've lived in Dallas now. This is my 4th time living in Dallas.
All right.
My Grammy, I used to sit on my Grammy's lap and watch Herschel Walker and them Dallas Cowboys back in the 80s. All right?
So you're in. You're a lifer. You're a lifer.
And then, of course, when you win 3 Super Bowls in your teenage years, it just cements.
It's hard to get behind the Lions, too, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, although you're having a good year with Dan Campbell, a bunch of kneecap fighters out there, it's good stuff here.
All right.
We're gonna get back on the mobility.
We went a little sideways there.
Let's see here, 70 towns. A lot of Cowboys fans here. You know, a lot. Honestly, this is what people want to talk about. Did I get in trouble?
Am I gonna get fired?
No, this is what people want to talk about.
Yeah.
Kata says, "Go 49ers." It's great. Jody, Sawson, what's going on? A lot of Cowboys fans here. I'll be honest. I think we skew Cowboys fans here.
All right.
On the show. Here.
All right. So I've definitely put my foot in the mouth. Okay, that's perfect.
Still come to BAMM though. It's a very welcoming environment for sure. I want to hear from your perspective though, Josh. I mean, we mentioned the fact that this year we're seeing a lot of layoffs, and probably nowhere has been more affected than the Bay.
Yeah.
With the tech companies. I mean, with the massive booms that have been happening here for it feels like decades now, right? When you come down off that, and the stock market kind of crashes, it comes down. You see these really large numbers of people being laid off. What's that feeling like? What's that perspective from the Bay Area?
I think I read a recent stat. It's somewhere over 250,000 people have lost their jobs in the Bay Area over the last year.
250,000, 250,000 people.
250,000 people have lost their jobs that were in tech, just in tech specifically.
Wow.
So that's just an incredible number of people that are now out there looking for new roles, out there trying to decide what to do next with their career. Maybe their future relocation targets, right? The Bay is still an expensive place to live. It still can be challenging. So those people may be exploring options elsewhere in the country. And what we're hopeful is that at least for other people that have business out there, that we'll see an increase of those people trying to relocate, maybe to find new jobs, or eventually as those companies sort of stabilize, they're going to want to backfill those positions. They're going to want to continue to have growth for Wall Street, and they'll start rehiring those positions, and they may need to relocate folks from other parts to bring people in. So there's still a lot of hope out there. Most of us are seeing kind of 2024 as a flat year, and then hopefully pick up in 2025 after the elections.
So 2024 being flat from 23, so kind of more of the same. So kind of, so really kind of maybe a bit of a prolonged, I'm going to use the word depressed because I don't know what other word to use it, kind of reduced volume year.
Correct. Yeah. And we are hopeful that some of that comes back, but we're not sure. This could be the new reality of where we're at as industry, is that there's a little less volume in the marketplace, and that's going to create challenges across every vertical, every horizontal in our industry.
It feels like to me that this is a matter of interest rates coming back down. If interest rates come down a couple points, all of a sudden, boom, people start buying and selling houses again. Businesses can get loans. There's cash moving throughout, the market. That to me feels like the thing I'm looking at most. Is that a silver bullet, or are there more factors that you see?
I mean, the three economic forces that affect our industry the most, right? It's hiring, right? So when layoffs are happening, that's not great for us.
The opposite of hiring.
When the real estate market's moving good, which is affected highly by mortgage rates. So when mortgage rates are up, things seem to stall out, and there's no inventory out there for homes right now. So it's really, really the triple whammy of stuff that's happening to us right now.
It really is. And they're interdependent, it feels like, as well. Wow, we're getting Steelers and Commanders fans coming out of nowhere. Nan, I love you so much, but come on, Commanders. We do have a question there.
Okay,
and then I'll let you go, because we have some really amazing people on deck. We got some great corporate members on deck as well. Robin Spindell says, where have all those tech employees gone? It sounds like that. Where have all the cowboys gone? Where have all the tech employees gone? Is there another industry that they were able to move their skills to, or are they just sitting on the bench?
You know, the good thing I've heard from a lot of the people that I know in the tech sector is, for the most part, most of the tech companies have had pretty generous severance packages. So they've been very fair to their employees that they did have to let go. Some I'm hearing, 3 months on the very, very low end. 6 months is what I would say is average severance. And some companies are even doing a year.
Wow.
And if you've been there a long time, maybe even longer than that. And so for some of those people, they're maybe just sitting it out right now and haven't really decided what their next move is. My expectation is they'll want to get back into the marketplace and back probably into the tech sector and are just waiting for things to improve.
Yeah, I met a guy last night. He was a sysadmin, they call him out here, and he's been unemployed now, but he was drinking some real high-end martinis. So, I mean, he's sitting there he seems to be doing okay still,
Right.
Casually looking for a job, it feels like there. That seems like a lot of severance. I never understood 6 months severance. Like, why not just keep them? You're going to pay them for 6 months. Why don't you just keep them on?
Well, I think for some companies too, you can then reset. You can bring in some lower level people, kind of reset the economics of your business, right? So that guy that you were paying $250,000 a year to be your system administrator, maybe you bring in a junior person at $125,000, and so it's worth it for them to pay the severance to kind of reset that equation.
Interesting. This is great. Josh, I'm going to leave you just with a final word before we bring on Andres here next.
You got it. I'll just say, really excited to see one good outcome from this downturn, which is organizations like BAMM and other regional industry groups. At least here, we're seeing an uptick in people that want to participate. People are finding more value in connecting with their relocation community, and whether it's because they're looking for a job, whether it's because they need help and support, more help and support than they've had in the past. We're having record attendance here at BAMM. We've got 60 corporates, almost 160 people total registered for the event. So if you are part of a community organization other than BAMM, support it, be part of it. It can be really valuable, especially in times like this that are more difficult.
Awesome. Love being at BAMM. Can't wait to see the content this afternoon and get some of this amazing food I'm smelling out here too. Can't wait. And then we got Andres next. You want to introduce our next guest for us?
Absolutely. Andres Schulstein from Genentech.
Oh, awesome. Very much. Come on over, Andres. And my mic is a little muffled, you said here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but hey, Andres, how are you doing?
Hi, Ben.
We're going to do a quick little mic fix here. Thank you, super producer Adam there in the house. I don't know where my mic is. I can't see it. There we go. Awesome. Thanks so much. Hey, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
Awesome. Nice weather. Nice crowd.
Yeah, great. And I think you just concluded a corporate roundtable just recently.
Yes, we had a corporate roundtable. It was well attended. We had about 40 corporates around here today for the Fall BAMM event. A lot of good questions, a lot of good topics come up. The spring one was mostly about immigration, as expected. But today there were a lot of questions around policy, about design, about taxes, about relocation, about RMC support, networks in general. So a lot of good questions, a lot of good insights, and a lot of good people here.
What was maybe the number one thing on people's minds?
It's hard to pick just one. I think it's mostly adjusting expectations and policies towards more of a cost-conscious environment. And I think these are trends where we can try to optimize our programs to still deliver the best experience for our transferees, but also consider some cost constraints. I think there was a little bit of a theme there.
From a cost standpoint, I mean, do you see, coming from a kind of a Bay Area perspective, do you see that these technology companies have traditionally had kind of richer packages, or have they always been kind of more austere? I've heard both.
It depends.
It depends.
I think that's always the answer, right? It depends.
But it depends on what kind of factors.
I think it depends on if it's really a startup tech company, they're more skinnier packages, but also the demographic of the people that work in those companies are maybe different, more less family support maybe needed, younger folks that are trying to support the startup. And of course, they're not as cash rich, right? They have a cash burn rate and only so much funding, versus other more established tech companies. They have the coffers to support full flex and full service policies.
Yeah. So I've never been inside the room at a BAMM corporate roundtable. I'll be honest, I don't know if I ever will. It's on my bucket list of things to do. I think by definition I'm not allowed in. But how are these things structured for maximum benefit?
We try to be inclusive and have everybody's questions answered. We send out a request before the event where everybody can ask their questions. We can vote them up. We use the Slido deck to have everybody submit the questions.
So you get the questions first, and then you bring the question, and you kind of just go through them. Is that kind of the idea?
We go through them. We debate them. Sometimes there are ad hoc questions that come up, and it takes life on its own. So that's good, right? I mean, it's a lively, interactive exchange. It's organic. And the questions guide us through the discussions.
Is there ever any disagreements? Does it ever get kind of tense or heated?
Well, there's not always a right and a wrong, right? There are a lot of grays and in-betweens. So it's good to have that debate because it shows you that there are different opinions. And sometimes we just take in-room polls to see how many people do one thing one way or the other. And then people can form their own opinions, what works best, because it's typically based on company culture or on budget restraints or on some kind of historic background of why people do one thing or the other. And this is very clear, and everybody can participate, and people like it.
So what do you forecast in your mind for, and I'm not going to hold you to this, okay? I know you're not I don't think you're an economist. But what do you forecast the next 12 months to hold for the kind of mobility community here in the Bay Area?
That's a funny question. Well, I think we are mostly through the pandemic right now, and it's stabilizing. I think I don't expect there to be any big disruptions from now. I think we are through the pandemic stuff. We have returned to office. It'll stabilize there, and maybe there is a little more selection on who is relocating based on different trends on remote work, hybrid work, bringing jobs to people instead of people to jobs. But the people that still need to relocate one way or the other, they still need our support, and we make sure that they get the best experience possible.
You know, you mentioned just now bringing people to jobs versus bringing jobs to people. And obviously we've seen kind of a sea change in this area a bit, precipitated by COVID and the necessity to work from home. I was out last night in San Jose and Zoomtopia was going on down there and all the Zoomers were out. I don't know if that's what they call them, but that's what I'm calling them. And what are your thoughts about the core value proposition of relocating employees for jobs? I mean, is it important to do that, to continue doing that?
It depends. I mean, it depends on the kind of job and the kind of person you're trying to relocate. Some jobs are absolutely okay to be remote or hybrid, and there's more flexibility. I mean, we in mobility can do our job pretty much anywhere, right? But other jobs cannot. I mean, I'm working for a pharma company. They have labs and they have researchers. They need to be in the lab. So, of course, we have to move those. If you have people in production or in factories, they have to move. They have to be on the line. So there are certain jobs that have more flexibility than others, and we have a lot of push for return to office generally across the industries because there's something to be said about having innovation and exchange in person versus just everything virtual. So I think the mix has to be right, and the mix is not the same for every job or every type of work.
Yeah, that's probably a very smart answer that makes a lot of sense. You have the physical workers, and then you have the knowledge workers, if you will, and Makes a lot of sense. Andreas, thank you so much for your time. Do you want to just leave us with maybe a final thought before we bring on Billy Ho from EA?
Yes, Billy is my partner in crime here as a corporate advisor at BAM.
Would you care to comment on the crimes you've committed with Billy? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
next time,
And
after a beer.
on the next episode of Love and Relo.
BAM is a good community, very active, very willing to share ideas, and because we're all in it together, we all want to have the best experience for our transferees, and we all have similar questions or challenges to solve, and BAM is a good place to do so. We have BAM benchmarking online, so people sign up for BAM as a corporate member, get your questions answered, and if you're in the region, join one of our events.
Wow, that sounds really cool. Yeah, the corporate attendance at BAM is really on another level from any other regional relocation council I've been to. I think there was 150 people at this event. I think a third were registered as corporate attendees. I do want to ask, I promised I was going to let you go. I smell the fajitas in there, but I'm going to ask you, how does BAM get such a rich corporate attendance, such a high percentage of corporate attendees?
It must have something to do with the value you get out of the events.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good. Andreas, thank you so much for being here with us. Let's bring Billy out here.
Yes.
Take care. Billy Ho. Thanks so much. Andreas from Genentech there. Awesome. Get in the comments. I want to hear your questions. Hit that like button. I want to know what you're thinking out there. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Billy Ho from Electronic Arts. How are you, Billy?
Very good. Thank you.
It's so good to see you here.
Yeah, always. Always good to see you as well.
Yeah. Billy, I was here in February. I think I saw you there, and then you've been on Love and Relo as well. You're always down to support the community. It means the world. Why is it so important to you to support our community?
I honestly think that our industry is such a close, tight family. That's why community is supporting each other and doing and how we support our employees and business relocating. That is important because that just fuels why we're so close as family as an industry.
Yeah, it does feel like I don't want to use the word family reunion because it's like we overuse it, and if my family's watching, they might get upset. But it does feel like a reunion of sorts whenever I come to an event like BAM, and you see the friends and the handshakes and the hugs and the warmth, and it's really special.
We're just so willing to help each other, even though we might be competitor, we might be really in different industry, for example, but we're so willing to share, and that's what got me into mobility, really.
Yeah.
And other people might tell you, hey, I dropped into mobility by accident. That happened to me too.
Yeah.
But
you stayed on purpose
because of a close family and community that support one another.
I love that. We got into it by accident, but we stayed on purpose.
Exactly.
I love that. That's fantastic. Billy, the theme today is kind of about the changes that are happening in our space. Well, the economy in general, right? And how it's impacting us. And the strategies maybe that we can use to counterbalance or maintain through this. How have you seen the global mobility community, especially here in the Bay Area, which seems to be have been impacted kind of the hardest, honestly? How have you seen those changes playing out?
I think this is more the reason to be intentional. I think this is the right moment to be even more so intentional about how we support our employees. Why are we relocating people? I think all of that really speaks to some of the things that we have been doing at EA, right? Decision driven by data, but at the same time, it's be intentional about, now, do we need to move the person? How are we intentionally maximize the experience by deciding whether to support relocation or not? And if we do, what can we do to drive that experience even further upward?
Yeah.
So there's two things that we're doing right now at EA. Most importantly, one is to continue to define and be conscious about the intentionality of which. And the second thing is we're looking to introduce what we so-call an employee choice program.
Employee choice?
Employee choice program.
Okay.
What it does is, from a supported relocation package standpoint is to allow employee to choose what benefit that suit them the most.
Okay.
So of course, it's not gonna be a free-for-all program, right? There's definitely some guidance on what we see, but instead of making the employee to choose or request for exceptions, this employee choice program, how we envision it, is gonna build in that flexibility for people to choose what matters to them.
Is it different from a core flex program? Or?
I would think there's similarity to it, but I feel like core flex has been used in the past in so much times that intentionally what we're trying to do is to build in that flexibility and that choice. So that's why we're calling it the employee choice.
It seems like you're focusing too on the user experience and the way that it's presented to people to provide, I mean, just from what I'm hearing you say, provide more feeling of freedom, maybe.
Right.
Do you feel like that's resultant in more satisfaction and engagement with the program?
I think overall we have heard a lot of feedback about, hey, this benefit doesn't really mean much to me.
Yeah.
I think by introducing that choice, it's gonna really drive up that feedback that, hey, and one of the things that I've always been talking to the team and community about is, at least from where I've been living and hearing, I want to be part of building that journey and that experience.
Yeah.
So what's the best way for me to be involved is to select what means the most to me in a relocation package.
Yeah.
But we also, as a company, we want to maximize that investment. So that's why that's the two angles of which.
Are there employee choices that have surprised you when kind of giving employees more choices? I mean, are there things that they're choosing that are like, I didn't see that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, that's the reason why the space has always been interesting.
Yeah.
People move things that you don't even realize is movable to begin with.
Yeah.
So there are definitely some requests around that level. But again, it's the way how we support the employee experience is that guidance and that flexibility.
So not only are they opting out of services that maybe they felt like, this benefit doesn't really match my needs, but maybe they're saying, hey, can I allocate this towards something like that is important to me? And you're giving them that choice.
Exactly. That flexibility. Again, in a way, we're being intentional about investments because we're actually spending on something that means the most to the employee experience. And let them be the driver, but at the same time, with someone on the side providing guidance along the way. That is how we envision the employee experience to be.
Wonderful. That's awesome. We've got some questions coming in here as well. Get in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are. If you have a question for Billy here, we only got maybe 5 more minutes with him here, so I want to let him get back. I'm smelling the food. Did you have lunch yet?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for taking time out of your lunch. Charles says, great to hear the guidance along with the choice versus only the cash out option, helping pick valued and vetted suppliers. Are you still kind of maintaining the vetted suppliers through this, or are you giving them, I guess true choices? Here's cash, go figure it out. I mean, how do you balance the two?
One of the things at EA, we definitely value service more than just the cash itself. So because again, what we focus on our philosophy is that people, if you're supported by a relocation services, you can be more focused at work rather than trying to do your own relocation from scratch.
Right.
So that's the reason why we lean less on cash, but more on service. And all of that is really, again, allowing them to build the journey that way. So that's how we build our program.
Awesome. Billy, you want to leave us with maybe a final thought before we bring on our next guest here?
I say, again, if you're not in the industry and you want to be, come on and join us. Water is nice. Family are very close to each other. So we have a really good network and people like Ben that built the community with us.
Thank you, Billy. You're such a gem. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Billy Ho from Electronic Arts. Hey, come on over here. How you doing? I'm good. Got Mary here. How you doing?
I'm good.
How's everything?
Thank you.
How are you finding this BAMM fall meeting?
You know what? I want to talk yesterday about the truck pull. You guys
Oh.
were out yesterday doing a really, really
Yes,
fun truck pull.
we were.
We were on the Rocket Mortgage team, and we had a really good time. It was really fun. We did not win.
You didn't win?
No.
Where did Synergy have a team, or did you hop in with somebody else?
We were part of the Rocket Mortgage team.
All right, so for the record, Mary Corrales was pulling for the Rocket Mortgage team yesterday.
Yeah.
Rocket had a decent showing.
We did. We had 2 teams. We did not win, and I'm a very competitive person, if you know me. So I was a little.
Okay, take us there. Set the scene for us here, and I want to understand. What maybe happened there. That if you had a time machine, you could go back. What would you have done differently in that truck pull yesterday?
We had somebody have a little fall, and that was like a little sad. And
so you're blaming the fall guy.
Yes,
You're literally
100%,
you have a fall guy.
100%. But without him and the rest of our team, there's no way we would have been able to pull the truck. So
you have a truck pull Patsy. Somebody's got to go down for this.
I had the perfect spot where I could just sort of put it on my shoulder and kind of run along. So I don't think I was helping very much.
Let me ask you, did you start pulling like this and then go into it over the shoulder? You started over the shoulder.
The whole over the shoulder the whole time.
Do you feel like getting it started? How hard was it to get that truck started?
It was very hard. Once the getting it started part is the hardest. Once you get it going, it was good. But I feel like now that I've had one under my belt, I feel like now I know what to do for the next one. Like I'll be more prepared.
Besides the guy falling, which is very unfortunate.
And
nobody was injured.
Like shout out to him, man, because he helped our team so much. So it wasn't,
But what would you personally have done differently than knowing what you know now?
I probably would have actually pulled instead of just sticking it on my shoulder, running along.
Trying to look cute with the rope, try to actually put some.
I wanted us to drop it all at one point, do a YMCA, and pick it back up.
And then pick it back up. But you lose that momentum. That momentum would have
been good for the gram.
Killer.
Would have been good for the gram.
Do it for the gram, Mary Corrales.
Yeah.
Mary, why is BAMM so important to be here? What do you get out of this?
When I first started as a salesperson, BAMM was the very first meeting that I ever went to.
Really?
And it was just so overwhelming, but at the same time, I made such great connections. And, it was the first time I got to meet people. It sort of holds a special place in its heart.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of people that come from a lot of different places for BAMM.
Yeah.
So they always are, bringing great speakers. They're always looking at different places around the Bay Area. I just think it's really important as a Bay Area based company to be here to kind of show up.
Love it. And appreciate the sponsorship as well. I saw you guys out there sponsoring.
You.
Now, this session today, this meeting today, the theme is really about the challenges that we're all facing right now.
Yeah.
How is the corporate housing environment right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. Everybody is facing a challenge. I think that had 2022 not been so amazing, right? Maybe 2023,
it's amazing.
We
were all so
bad.
smart last year,
right?
weren't we? We were all like the best in our industry,
right?
Killing it, best year ever.
Yeah.
So bright. We just couldn't miss.
We were like, this is going to last forever. But I think, after a pretty hard summer, we're now getting into intern planning season. So we're just a little crazy busy right now. Everybody now, October is the time to start planning for your 2024 interns. So anybody who hasn't started planning yet, start planning now because people are starting to grab that inventory. They're starting to make all their decisions. And come 2024 next year, you don't want to be towards the end of that because you're going to be left with whatever's left over.
How have you seen intern programs change? What's that last couple of years been like?
Yeah, so it went from having 2 people in a 2-bedroom apartment to having 1 person in a 1-bedroom apartment because with COVID and everything else, it was, everybody wanted to be extra safe.
Are we back to bunking up or no?
I think so. So last year we saw people start going back to 1 person and 2 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, so separate bedrooms. This year we're getting asked quite a lot about 4 people in a 2-bedroom.
So now, I mean, that's a big step going from everybody has their own room. Yeah. So now y'all 2 young people are going to be in this room together.
Yeah.
How do they navigate who shares a room with whom? Do these people even know, these interns even know each other?
We have a roommate matching tool that we use to try to put people together based on, whatever.
I could have used one of those in college. I got stuck with the weirdest people.
I had an interesting roommate too. But when you get 4 people into a 2-bedroom apartment, it can get a little fun. So would love to hear anybody's fun intern stories in the comments.
Any
always
fun
a good
intern
time.
stories? Put them in there. We have corporate housing people checking in. We got Richard Majewski from London. corporate housing icon out there in the UK.
Hey, Richard.
Angela Paparelli over here from Vialto checking in as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. If you have any intern stories, or if you've ever had a bad roommate,
Yes.
why? I want to know what makes a bad roommate. And if you've been my roommate, do not say anything in the comments, okay? Because it's not the place for that. But if you've had a bad roommate, put it in the. I want to hear bad roommate stories, weird intern stories. Mary, have you ever had first? Have you ever had a bad roommate?
I've had some interesting roommates, but I'll say the one roommate pull that I can't stand is when you're supposed to share, like, you know, somebody's supposed to buy something if it runs out,
Yes.
right? So somebody will just use it until there's like one drop left, so that you're the person that uses it last and has to rebuy it.
So if you use the last
Yes.
milk, you have to buy more milk. But if
Yes.
you take it down to the last
Yes.
drop, or maybe just don't throw out the carton, maybe it's in there. It's like, oh, you touched it.
Yes.
You gotta replace it.
That's probably the worst I've had. So I think I've been pretty good then
That's funny.
for roommates. Do you have a crazy roommate story?
I mean, I got to think of the ones I can share.
Yeah, what
I
can
will
we
tell you
share
this:
on
when I was
here?
in college, it was 3 of us guys in a apartment, if you will, a house, top floor of a house. It was a competition to see who could do the less dishes, right? And so
yeah.
the dishes would pile up, and then would be, and then you'd start to use all the dishes. So what I found out is the amount of dishes you have in the sink is equal to the amount of dishes you have ever had in your cupboard, because they'll all come out and end up in the sink. So the trick is only 1 plate per person in the house, 1 mug, 1 cup.
Gotcha.
And if you keep it to like 9 pieces of dishware, you'll never have an insurmountable. Because once it gets to a point where the dishes are now hitting the faucet top, you can't actually wash them, because you turn the faucet on, the water flies off the side of the plate.
Yeah.
You know, this is the kind of depth of depravity that I was into in my early 20s.
Yeah. I had one roommate who was in interior design school, and that was really cool because we had the most beautiful college dorm apartment that you could ever have, because she would like make furniture and salvage rugs.
Okay.
And it was a great experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got people getting in here.
Right.
One time I picked up a couch on the side of the road, right? Because college, you know, you're throwing out sofas. I brought it home, and apparently it had been in a home that had a lot of cats.
Ooh.
And I didn't know that, because you just don't know what you don't know, and you bring it in, and then all of a sudden we had people we found out were allergic to cats in the home, and that was a big snafu for quite a while. Shane Burlinson says the intern roommate stories are wild. He's like, how about the beer can pyramids? You ever discover a couple beer can pyramids, these intern apartments?
Yeah, I think they're called pyramids.
Pyramids?
I think they're called pyramids.
Wow, you got names for them.
I bet there's plenty of things that are found left over in the apartment. And
my
thanks
gosh.
to our lovely crew that has to go in there and figure out whatever's left behind.
This is super interesting. Yep. I heard somebody one time said that they came in and someone had put dirt down, soil, and was growing things in their apartment.
I believe it.
Like a garden.
I believe it, man.
Wild stuff. This is great. Mary Krause, always a good time.
Thank you.
Sometimes too much fun.
Always fun.
Dare I say. Always a good time.
Thanks for having me on.
With Mary. We got Scott coming up next here to round us out.
So nice
Mary,
to see you.
so good to see you. Mwah. Take care. Thanks so much.
Got it.
All right. Scott O'Neill from Sudeth coming in. That tall drink of water. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't recognize you without a mustache. Can I say that?
I was just talking to your colleague about that. How we did in November, which is coming up.
Oh, it is coming up. Are you participating this year?
Rumor has it we're trying to do it. We'll see.
There's a mustache rumor going around.
There's a mustache.
You never want to be involved in a mustache rumor. That's what I found in my life.
No,
actually.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Scott, tell me about BAMM. Every time I come to the West Coast, you're one of the shining stars I see here all the time. What do you get out of the BAMM meetings?
You know, BAMM is, I think, kind of like the premier West Coast regional. They kind of started.
Yeah.
They really put West regional groups on the map. The networking, the education, the groups. It's a really great organization to really support and be a part of.
Yeah. Today, though, we're talking about the challenges that we're having in our industry, and that's really the theme of today, right?
Yes.
What's going on in the moving business?
The moving industry is not immune to the challenges that everyone in our space is having. You know, the volumes are low, the costs are high.
Yeah, people aren't buying and selling houses right now. I mean, that's what I'm seeing, right?
Absolutely, and it impacts us. If people aren't wanting to trade their 3% mortgage for a house, so mobility is definitely slowed down. We've seen, you know, numbers are all over the board, anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40, and sometimes 50%, depending on, you know, the industry and the clients. But yeah, definitely volume is slower, which makes it easy for capacity. Our capacity, we have capacity.
Yeah, peak season wasn't crazy this year. It's like, oh, you need a truck? No problem. How many do you need? Oh, tomorrow? No problem. Sure, I'll be right out.
It definitely was a complete difference from last year where no one had capacity, and now this year everyone has capacity.
It's so crazy. I mean, what does that do to the mindset of clients where it's like one year you can't pay enough to get a move done. You got to book 6-8 weeks out. And this year it's like, yeah, no problem.
And it's hard for staffing. It's hard for, you know, how do we look at volume and plan for, you know, next year. Heck, we can't even plan for next week. So it's definitely been a night and day difference from last year with the challenges that we're facing today versus, you know, 2022.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, now I need you to. I think you got a crystal ball in that pocket right there. What are you forecasting? Say next 12 months out.
So
business.
We're having the conversations with our clients, and pretty much what we're hearing is they don't know either because their crystal ball's not working, but they're saying flat. So flat compared to this year. So that's
more of the same.
More of the same is what everyone's kind of
which stinks because the lower volume's tough. Obviously, we want more volume, but some steadiness might be welcome.
Absolutely, because that's something that this industry has not had for years. And so having that will be great.
It's like if you tell us what the volume's going to be, we can staff to that and we can ensure our margins are there and our profitability is there. It's when we staff up to this crazy peak, and in the peak, it was like a peak season that never ended last year, and then the lights turn off, and then it's just nothingness, you know. And it seems like so many companies were caught overstaffed, which is why we're seeing the resulting kind of layoffs and right sizing that we're seeing.
Yeah, I've been doing this 25 years. I've never seen layoffs before peak season, and then in the middle of peak season, and then
May and June layoffs.
So it was definitely unique, and our industry is changing. The household goods space there's definitely some new innovators and some disruptors that are coming in, and we're rethinking how household goods moves are performed.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always a one size fits all. You send a big huge truck in and they take care of it. And now there's containers, small shipments, DIY plans. So there's a lot of technology. Household goods solutions that are entering the space, so it's really evolving, and so you put all that with the low volume, and people not wanting to move because they don't want to change their mortgage. So it's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, it sure is. Scott, this is awesome. I want to let you go so you can go grab some lunch because it's smelling delicious in there. And then we've got Robert Horsley from Fragment coming up here.
I got one last question. Are you going to do the Movember with us? I'm putting you on the spot.
My mustache is a car wreck, man. Because I can always shave. My move. I don't go clean and then grow it from there because it's just so much ugly Betty time in there. But what I'll do is I'll kind of grow out the beard and then I'll cut away from it and let it remain. I cheat a little bit. I take a rolling start into it.
We will talk in Boston about it. I'll see if I can get you looped in there.
You got to talk to my wife. We need to change that org petition to get me to grow a mustache, I think. Scott, it's always a pleasure, man. Thanks so much. Thanks for everything. And then we've got Robert Horsley here from Fragment. Another legend here. How you doing, Robert? It's good to see you, bud.
Man?
Looking good as always.
The memo.
What's the memo?
You got the no suit memo.
The no suit memo. It took about 8 years of coming to the West Coast for me to finally believe that they actually don't wear suits out here.
Well, for special occasions.
Like funerals.
There you go.
Maybe a wedding.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. It's always good to see you.
Yeah. Fun to be here. It's a great event, huh?
Always. There's such an energy about the BAMM events that it's really unparalleled, I think, in any other regional. And I think part of it is the mix of the corporate mix, right? That always brings a lot of, frankly, investment and raises the bar and thought leadership. But I also, there's a dynamism in the Bay that's usually present here.
Note to self, right?
Yeah.
No, I think we're a pretty dynamic group out here. It's kind of fun because we're at the leading edge of the curve most of the time.
Well, that's the thing. And now here this year, it's such a wacky year. And the theme today is all about kind of the challenges and what's really going on and keeping it real with ourselves and like, hey, what's really going on? Because we have a tendency, we come to these things, right? Oh, how's business? Great. How's the family? Great. How's it? Everything's great. Everything's good, you know. But this year is a year where somebody tells me things are good. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that. I mean, what are you seeing out there?
Things are changed. Things are different. I actually think I'm bullish. It's there's an opportunity to actually change and add value. So I don't know.
Where do you see the opportunity? Where do you see the opportunity? I mean, you know, Josh High was on here. He's like, you know, 250,000 people were laid off this year in the Bay Area, right? The economy is weird because indicators tell us it's okay, but we're all feeling constriction happening. What makes you bullish, and where do you see opportunity?
Okay, so you've seen cycles like this before, right? So what happened during COVID? Employee experience is really important out here, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you heard that word?
Yeah, super important.
How sick of it are you?
Yeah.
But what companies out here did to adjust was hire people to do analog things, right? They broke their own rules. Here, these companies are all about scale and all about pushing forward. But in order to survive during those times, you added people. You added people to do things. Whatever it took to keep people working hard and working well, but you added bodies. So we pull out of that time. Everybody's trying to figure out what is hybrid, what's remote, what's productive, how do we keep going. We moved from a focus on crypto to a focus on AI.
Yeah.
They started to say, hey, we're being inefficient. Let's pull back. All those bodies, do we need all those bodies?
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of change, but what you have to be super proud of those companies for doing was to kind of rejigger themselves, retreat themselves to move forward again, right? So it was kind of a false move towards the future, or a really quick move that nobody knew how to do quite right.
Yeah.
Now they're adjusting to it and setting themselves up for, real growth again. What I'm seeing in one of our businesses, but this is purely reflective on hiring in our WorkRight product, which is really about onboarding, right? Is that there was a slowdown last summer, but now we're seeing it kick back up. Companies have got to reorganize themselves. They've done their restructuring, whatever that is.
Yep.
And now they're hiring again in different positions for different things to bolt them forward. And I think that's where our industry is really a strategy, right? Mobility is a strategy.
It should be. It should be. That's its purpose, right? That's where it's its highest purpose.
Yeah. So do you have a mobility strategy for talent acquisition? Do you have one for talent deployment, for talent management, for talent development? It's a strategy in all those pillars, and all those pillars are being pulled on again, right? Do we have to hire different people to be more focused on this, more focused on AI, more focused on all the things, all the elements that, I'm just picking on that one area.
Sure.
But we're in the HR space, it's still all about people. It's just the right people. So maybe that mix is changing. So you had to go through a bit of a down to go back to an up. The valley, for those of, I don't want to preach here. I'm just saying.
No, go for it.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's always kind of a resizing because it goes so quick, and it takes a step back, always to go really back up again. So why am I bullish? I think we bottomed out. I think we're headed the other direction again. But we do have to know the new is going to be different than the past. So
yeah, and I think we have to really embrace that fact and know that it doesn't mean that we are less relevant as individuals and companies. We just have to adapt, and And then if we do, there is opportunity and there's reward for that. You know, what you're saying to me, the thing that I kind of pulled out of what you're saying is the opportunity is to move from tactical to strategic, because right. And what's beautiful about the moment is the tactical business of relocation. The transactions are down and going away right now, which makes us, it frees up bandwidth to focus on more strategic things and to go from relocation to global mobility, to go from the tactical transactions of moves, home sales, all the tactical stuff where we make a fee, to being more strategic in the way that we help our companies and our clients dream up the new mobile workforce strategy. And then we're going to have to develop new products and services to meet that.
So who's better at understanding how to help the mobile workforce than we are, right? Than this industry.
Yeah.
I think the accounting has to be, it's not purely about the number of transactions. It's about the value you're adding.
Yeah.
And right now they're saying, hey, there is tremendous, the impact we can have and the value we can bring probably means, you know, don't just count the number of widgets, but make the widget more valuable. And that's the opportunity that's there.
It seems like we're very our business models are wrapped around the transaction and getting a fee and getting a margin on each transaction. Whereas I see maybe is there an opportunity to do more from a consulting and from a thought leadership and a design standpoint, where it's more of like a retained kind of services business versus, you know, these transactions. I mean, I don't know what your thought is around that. I mean, I don't see a lot of companies doing that right now yet. Or the thought leadership that we've given corporations has been almost like for free, and we're doing it just as a value add because we're, you know.
I mean, that's been the 20-year race to the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Give away all the real value to get
the real value,
revenue.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's really, that's backwards, because people are more than happy to pay for value.
Yes.
Right. And so identify real value. And I think our industry, maybe if we're honest with ourselves, a little slow to articulate value.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been a challenge to articulate our value and our value prop to corporations.
But I think so. I was over in Singapore with one of my partners, Darren Gibson, last week or 2 weeks ago now. With Kerwin, we had an event kind of to really, how do you take this to the next level, really? And it was about, you know, we've always said you want to be invited to, you want to be sitting at the table, right? Well, how do you get invited to the table? It's not by asking. It's by having something to contribute, right?
Sure.
So as opposed to, hey, we need to, you all need to get this done. It has to be, hey, have you thought about doing this to articulate the ultimate goal of what you're trying to achieve? Don't go there with a mobility strategy. Go there trying to achieve whatever the business is trying to achieve with a mobility strategy. You show up proactively there, you're going to always be at the meeting.
Yeah, I like that. And I think, and I've had this kind of thought in my head recently.
Well, I thought this would be an easy conversation. We're going deep.
Oh, yeah. We're not talking Niners, Cowboys.
But I mean, we will.
We can. There's an opportunity for that as well. And I'm very bullish on my Cowboys. Not really.
I'm happy that you are.
Not really. Oh, man, we're going to get housed. Anyway, but I've had this thought, this vision in my mind where we go from getting a seat at the table to owning the room. Because global mobility is front page news. It's tip of the spear strategically in the world right now, especially with the events of the last few years. They're all global mobility problems. And we can own the room. We can be the one at the front making the presentation, not just sitting there having a sheepish question from time to time.
Mobility is a strategy. What are we really trying to do? We're trying to enable talent, right? So it starts, you know, when people ask me, well, how should I pivot around? What should I do? I get more involved, not just in what we do, but why we're doing it, and be at the table for that. Be at the table for, you know, enabling talent, not for what we're going to do as part of that. It's an exciting, hey, if we come with the skills of understanding who's right for a role, how do you get them there? How do you make them safe? How do you make them compliant? Right?
Yeah.
Those questions are never been more unanswered than in the remote hybrid workforce, right? So we should be able to come to that table pretty strong.
I want to ask you, you know, because you come from the immigration world, What are you seeing?
Talent enablement.
The talent enable, the global talent enablement world.
There you go.
With the compliant the compliant global talent enablement world. What are you seeing right now in that space? With these challenges that we're facing, we've had corporate housing come over, we've had moving come over, we've had the corporate folks come over. What are you seeing from an immigration standpoint right now?
The reactivation and the importance. I mean, people cut down on doing things just to cut down on them because they were very bottom line focused. Now they're, especially the top leaders of these organizations, you can't cut your way to growth.
Yeah,
they've cut their way to profits, right? And that's what the market demanded, right? But now they're strategically thinking about how to move forward, right? And we're seeing the activation of how do you involve talent into that move forward strategy. So it is about hiring new people. It's about and finding where that talent is. That in the immigration space, in the talent enablement space, it's all about. There's still a skill shortage, right? You need to go find the right people in the right place, And part of that, one of the most interesting things I saw the other day is people were saying, we need this skill. So they didn't advertise for a location. They advertised for the skill. And they're coming to us saying, where can this person work for us? Oh, that's a change, right? That's different. Well, we should be listening.
Yeah.
And who do you already have in your workforce that can do that?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's opportunity to strengthen that as well. So,
wow. Really interesting. There's a lot of opportunity out there. It's just we have to rethink how we productize it, how we monetize it. Because we are an industry that's built around, managing the relocation and global mobility process, right? And the industry of it has to be healthy in order to support the corporate initiatives to do it, right? So we have to think about how do we productize this? How do we make money off this so that we can be sustainable and continue to support our clients?
And arrive with the amount of capacity that is what's out there. Companies are always going to do this. They're always going to have people. They're always going to have skill shortages. They're always going to need somebody someplace. But perhaps we build out too much capacity and too many players and too many. That's okay.
Well, we're seeing a lot of consolidation and we're seeing some right sizing going on right now. So we're seeing that.
Business activities.
Yeah. All right. I got to ask you, Robert, because these tacos are calling me, Robert. Okay.
They're good here.
It was National Taco Day yesterday. I didn't have enough.
Was it really?
Yeah, I only had like 3.
What was your favorite one?
They made the truck pull yesterday.
Isn't Adam's mission just so
love it, absolutely love it, and it's fun too. And they were making these. I forgot the name for these tacos, but they're making the corn tortillas on the griddle, and then they oh my gosh, they were so good. The cochinita pavils, oh my gosh. So anyway, I got to see what they got over here on deck for us.
Okay.
But I need a prediction. Niners Cowboys this weekend. Are you a Niners fan?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I grew up here.
Anyway, all right, Niners Cowboys.
How far are we from the stadium? I don't think we're more than 2 miles from the stadium.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You okay?
I might have to go take a leak.
Okay.
Anyway, so are we? What is your prediction? Niners Cowboys. Some people are saying this could be the NFC Championship game this year.
Might well be.
What do you think's going to happen? Yeah.
Great history. I love when the 49ers coach last night, I think, said, the history is important, but we're here this week.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know that it has. I think they're 2 great franchises. Both seem to be doing really well. I'm a believer that it'll be much tighter than everybody else thinks.
I think it's a 6 point spread right now in Vegas, if I recall, maybe 6.5.
Come down to the end.
Mm-hmm.
How well conditioned are they? I don't know. You have one of our old draft picks is your backup quarterback now.
Trey Lance, yes, we were very
probably
fortunate. He's a 3rd stringer, so I don't know that we're technically allowed to suit him. It's an emergency quarterback situation. Hopefully, we don't see that emergency unfold. So
Dak's been playing well, right?
Dak's okay. He's not winning. The defense is winning games. This is going to be a game of defenses. I mean, we have Dak and y'all have Mr. Irrelevant, and they're both playing. They're both playing above their. They're both playing above their station.
I think he's outgrown that.
Dak was a 5th rounder. Brock was a 7th or whatever. But I mean, this is going to come down to Micah Parsons and Bosa. That's what this is going to come down to. And who has more sacks?
I think it's going to come down to who has more receivers.
Well, you do have Debo and Brandon Ayuk, I believe, still, and Kittle. I mean, that's a lot of weapons.
We have McCaffrey out of the backfield.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of weapons.
Right? Our 2 best receivers, I think, are our backs.
Yeah.
So
that's scary.
Hey, listen, we'll talk during the game, but
Jillian's rooting for her fantasy guys, CMC and CD.
Well
that's
done.
great. You're gonna have a good. Well, I don't know. Those defenses are gonna be tough though.
Your defense is probably more impressive than our defense currently. Bosa's still getting up to speed.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah, it'll be a good game.
It's a fun game. Every time I've gone to this game, it's been a lot of fun. I've gone to this game in Dallas as well.
Yeah.
So good luck to you. Kind of.
Kind of within reason.
We'll see each other again
in moderation.
Hey,
awesome.
I love what you do for the industry.
Thank you so much, Robert.
You got the dialogue going on.
Yeah. Thank
you. I love the fact you're out of the suit, but nice. Still.
Yeah, this is Italian. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Thank you. Sounds good, everybody. We're gonna. I think we might have one more. You're supposed to be our last, but we got somebody standing by here. So thanks so much, Robert. Hey.
How are you?
Hey, Matt. Come on over here. How you doing? It's Matt from Benevo. How's everything?
It's fantastic.
I'm told that you are the programs guy.
Correct. Yes, I wanted to give a quick plug and
plug it away, man. Plug it away.
People who have put in a lot of work to put this event together. So I am the programs and events chair.
None of us can do it alone.
No one can do it alone.
Who's your other co?
Farrah McEwen.
Oh, Farrah. Yeah,
Yes.
we love Farrah.
So Farrah is responsible for all things venue, logistics, and basically making it so this event can actually happen.
Yep.
And then I'm doing the role of organizing the content and the speakers and planning out the session and what we're going to do.
What content are you most excited for this afternoon?
Today, I'm very excited for the individual presentations. I think that's going to be quite fun. We actually did a mini run at this last fall meeting of 2022, and Catherine Ruddy at now Cloud.com, she at Tibco previously was the brave first person to ever attempt an Ignite presentation at a BAMM conference.
Okay.
Which is a solo 5-minute presentation with 20 slides, auto advancing, and you tell a story in that time.
Yeah.
And so it got really good feedback, and we brought it back for this event. And we, instead of one presenter doing the 5-minute presentations, we have 5. So it's going to be quite a good session.
Nice.
And then all those presenters are going to form a panel, and we're going to explore all of the themes related to downturn, kind of the reality that's happening for a lot of the Bay Area technology companies at the moment, which is 2023 has been a year of layoffs and cost cutting and team resizing. And we're going to speak a little bit to how to manage through that downturn as a mobility program, and then get the insights from a lot of people in the industry and in this membership who have already managed through these types of downturns before, and talk about what to expect coming out of it. So
sounds really amazing.
We're going to talk about layoffs, but it's going to be more importantly about the future that comes afterwards. That's
awesome. That sounds great. I can't wait to see the Ignite sessions. Can't wait for the panel discussion. Can't wait to see if this food's still out there. I gotta hit these tacos up. It smells. Have you had lunch yet?
Not yet. So
oh my gosh, we gotta go hit some lunch.
Quantity of food that's there, I don't think we're
not gonna have a problem.
We're not gonna miss
out. I haven't been through there yet, so we don't know yet. We'll see what happens. This is awesome. Get in the comments, everybody. Hit that like button. We appreciate you so much being here with us live at the Bay Area Mobility Management Fall Meeting. Matt, I want to close this out with a final thought.
Yeah, thank you everybody for, if you couldn't be here in person, tuning in and getting a little glimpse of what we're doing at the meeting today, and hopefully you can be here in person for the next one.
Awesome, sounds good. Let's go get some tacos.
All right.